What you're saying is that anxiety is a boop, boop, boop. like, hey, you gotta check this out.
You cannot cure anxiety in the sense of eliminating it, because then you're removing one of the most important mechanisms of living, of coping, of being effective we have in life.
Hey, welcome to the Hush Podcast. This is the coach, and I'm here with Dr. Hugo. Today, we're going to battle anxiety. Hugo, I mean, this is your playground. This is your ring.
This is
Anxiety.
my thing. This is my thing.
Mm.
I deal in anxiety. So I have some thoughts to sort of set the frame as to what anxiety is in the way we see it. So anxiety, most people, to be honest, they see anxiety as something that you need to get rid of. Oh, I have this anxiety. I have to, how can I take a medication that's going to make it go away? How can I, relax and find this way to fight through stress, meditate, and something to mitigate, reduce, ultimately eliminate. So the proposal we have is that that will be the equivalent of getting rid of your CO2 detector because it's annoying, because it's making a noise. So it's a signal. The way we see anxiety is a signal your system is sending you that you're misoriented. You have lost your orientation. And this is affecting your performance. And guess what? You take the medication, you do the meditation so that you can find out. It's like, I think that there's a button in the dioxide that you press and it makes the noise lower. You can turn it off so that you can work, so you can do what you're supposed to do, to search for the cause. So anxiety is the same. It's a signal that if you don't look at it, your performance is going to continue going down, and there's something that is misaligned between you and the world, between you and your relationship. Something is happening. You need to look at it, or it will bring you on your knees.
So what you're saying is that anxiety is a boop, boop, boop. like, hey, you gotta check this out. It's not something to try to stash underneath the rug or in the closet and keep it pushing.
Absolutely not. That you're taking big risks by doing that, because, like I
What?
said, it's going to, yeah.
Oh no, because I was gonna say, because I think most people, when they think about anxiety, is that they're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm just not feeling good. So I guess, can you like what are the things that trigger anxiety for people? I know people say public speaking. I don't know if that's a fair on anxiety. Like, what is this feeling?
Public speaking is a typical one, but at least that something about being evaluated. You can tell in that case that this is coming from. You can reason it. When you can't is when it's so insidious that it comes from nowhere. You're at the mall, and all of a sudden you're having a panic attack. But you don't know it's a panic attack, of course. You think you're having a heart attack. You're at home, and they rush you to the hospital. They do all this bunch of tests, and then your family doctor says that was a panic attack. They told me. They sent me this report. I think you need to talk to a psychotherapist about this. Do some CBT. So that's the one, and the patient shows up and says, I don't know, because things are okay at work, relationship, well, the usual. They can't quite pinpoint. So the anxiety is telling you, look harder. There's something here that is misaligned. And then you begin to do the work, and lo and behold, it will start making sense. And then you begin to open up things, and you do the psychotherapeutic work. You do the therapy, you do the realignment, the reorientation of the system. So you cannot cure anxiety in the sense of eliminating it, because then you're removing one of the most important mechanisms of living, of coping, of being effective we have in life.
Can you talk about that? Because I feel like I mean, we talked about it last time. We talked about fear being something that you can harness to work for you. Anxiety, I mean, I think we mix up, at least in the combat sports, I'm sure in mixed martial arts as well, we mix up anxiety and fear, right? Because we're
Mm.
tough guys. You know, we want to attack the thing that we're afraid of. So it gets kind of mixed up together, like toughen up, like what get through this thing, you know, just go through it. And but as you said, with fear, maybe we can do that. We can harness that energy a little bit more easily and direct it because we have a direction. But with anxiety, how do we bottle up something that you can't really get a grasp on? So can you talk about that a little bit more?
A
As
hundred
a
percent, 100%. That's why it takes a lot to learn how to read your anxiety. That's what we teach. That's what we teach.
how
When
to
you're
read your anxiety.
how to read your anxiety, how to say, I'm feeling off. What's going on? So we teach you to read your body
So it's a
because the body,
skill.
it is a skill. That's why I tell people
Oh,
psychotherapy is like a martial art.
okay, okay,
It's a skill, and it's something that you're training your system to work, to function, to perform. You go to therapy to teach your system to perform.
okay. So can I jump in with this? Because that's actually helpful. All right. So you're basically saying anxiety is an unknown opponent. You don't know who you're going to face. We're facing you up with somebody, you don't know who it is. It could
You
be
have to
Mike
search.
Tyson. It could be like a little kid from the street. You don't. It could be whoever, right? And this could be anything in life. Like you don't know how this interview is going to go. You don't know who it's going to be.
Hint. Oh, hint. You have a hint.
Mm-hmm.
You have a hint that you're thinking that your next opponent is Mike Tyson, but you know that it's a little kid. So there's something in anxiety. There's something you already know from the get-go. My system is offline. Is not functioning properly. It's disoriented. That's what disorientation means. That your system has lost its capacity for relevance realization. You cannot pay attention where you need to pay attention to. So you're so disoriented that now the mall, something about the mall, who knows, is affecting you. Oh, something about whatever. I mean, the variety of ways in which anxiety can be triggered is quite large. And to pursue that is difficult because you're like, why? So anxiety has this noise, this beep, 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 is annoying you. It's telling you there's a problem, and you're like, what is it? What is it? Oh, is this? I'm not cooking. I'm cooking. I'm not. What is it? So the more abstract it is, the more disorienting it is, and that's what we teach you. We teach you to, okay, what's going on in my life? Okay, I know that this is important. I went here. This is going. Oh, of course. And that's what grounds you. Then you have an enemy that you can be courageous towards. Then you can do the specific action you need to do. That's how you said. We boxers, well, we fear this. What do? We train that.
So I want to ask it in two ways because I do want to get to the combat sports angle because I think this would be helpful for a lot of guys there. But I want to talk about this in a way for students because I know a lot of students struggle with like test taking. It's like if you want to put anxiety in a form, make it a test, an exam, final exams, right? And so what I guess I'm trying to get what you're saying. I'm going into a final exam. I'm anxious like crazy because of this exam. I'm going over my notes just before I walk into the test. Are you saying I shouldn't walk into that exam hall? Like I guess how what am I supposed to do?
Wonderful, wonderful, because you're bringing up two sides of the problem. So the exam, the job interview, the fight is the moment of performance. So if as the moment of performance is approaching, this is affecting the way you're going to show up. That's then obeying to to the previous stage, which is something there was not done. Maybe you didn't study enough. Maybe there's something you haven't dealt with. Because even studying enough is already very concrete. Then it's like, oh, well, I just have to study more. It's something about a, a previous work that needs to be done that is showing up in this way. It's affecting your performance. I don't know how this will show up in boxing, but it doesn't have to be something, it doesn't have to be tangible. It doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, I know that, I drank a bit. Oh, I know that. It's not necessarily that.
Hmm.
Does that happen? Do you have something like that
In
in sport?
boxing, I know. I mean, okay, I'll use this example, but for novices, I think most novices, they when you throw them into sport, they get more anxious maybe about getting hit. But I don't know, is that a fair? I guess that would be more of a fear of getting hit. Uh, it's yeah. So, but anyways, yeah. When they go in and they're, I guess, anxious or afraid of getting hit, they underperform. Usually what I do with them is like tell them, hey, you have to accept getting hit. So I think,
Mhm.
I mean, one of the tools that we kind of use, at least in combat sports, is just this idea of acceptance. You got to accept that Mike Tyson's in the ring with you. There's no running away from this, right? And then in the acceptance, for some reason, your brain reorganizes itself in some sort of way. But when you feel like you kind of have a, I want to say, a back door, a way out. Do I need to do this? Should I do this? Can I get out of this? Right? Then it allows anxiety to build up. That's what I've seen from coaching.
So it is something trainable, is the main point. It's a
Mhm.
capacity you develop. And one of the ways you do that, you're saying, is by using this analogy with, you need to know that you're in there with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing that you do see in boxing or fight or combat, football, anything like that. For some reason, when you eliminate all other options, I feel like options create anxiety. So when you eliminate all other options, and this is why coach is helpful sometimes, because a coach just tells you what to do, and that's all you're supposed to do. No other options, right? And
Mhm.
that's why I think coaching hard is good in those regards. You can offshore the anxiety. I don't know if it's dealing with it in a traditional way, but that's something in sports. Hey, my coach said to do it. That's it. No other option. I have to do it. But for some reason, when you have these options, when there's a little back door you could slip out of, then I don't know. The anxiety gets I guess room to creep in as well.
What do you mean by my coach told me to do it? My coach told me get in the ring and get punched. I don't understand that. Yeah, what do you mean
Yeah,
by that?
yeah. It could be as simple as that. You're anxious about sparring this dude, and coach says, "Hey, you get in the ring." You know,
Okay.
I, you go. And the anxiety is already gone. You're a little bit still maybe anxious, but you don't have another choice. So your brain has to figure out how to deal with this thing right in front of you. But again,
Okay.
I think the question, would you say that's more fair, or would you say that's falls into the anxiety category? I just want to get a good
Hmm.
clear understanding of this.
I would go for the side of fear. I would call it more
Okay.
fear. I mean, I'm thinking that the two are connected here, but
Okay.
as long as you can say, you can articulate it. I am afraid of getting punched. I don't know how I'm going to take it. Then you have an enemy. Then you
Right.
have an
Okay.
object. Then you can work on that. You can train yourself to, expose yourself more and more to that, and talk about it. And your brain, because that's a demand you put in your system, your mind will accommodate that. You will conquer it,
Okay.
or mitigate it to a point that you can is not holding you back.
I see. Okay, I got you. I got you. So I want to give a story. But
Yeah.
I think that's why it gets confused, because I think what you learn in boxing, for anybody who's interested in combat sports, what you learn is how to turn anxiety into fear. You get an object to direct this thing at. So because I've heard a lot of people say boxing or combat sports is therapy for them. I think it's this idea of like this release that you get, where you get to focus and zone in on some sort of object, that turns this anxiety into like this directed force, right? So like you're saying, it may not even be about like I'm afraid of getting hit, right? Maybe it's something else that follows you, like an anxiety, I don't know, mist, right? Aura, right? But now you get to combat, right? You get to channel this energy into a fear, right? Of getting hit or something like that. Because I think I told you just this before we started. It's funny. Boxing, I never really got anxious before fights or anything like that with
Mm.
boxing. I think I felt more anxiety with soccer or football, for my guys who know, right? When you're on the pitch, and the anxiety I had was like, I don't know what these other 10 guys teammates are going to do, right?
Whoa.
And so like my brain is split. Like it's like I get this rush or thing like, okay, am I going to be able to perform how I can perform? Because I'm dependent on all these other teammates around me. And if
Yeah.
this guy doesn't make his tackle, am I going to be playing in the back all day trying to couple defend him? And then
Kyle,
so yeah.
Kyle, I didn't know that you were such a control freak.
Oh, I well this is
You couldn't let go. You couldn't, right? You have to. I can't control this guy. Of course you can.
and it's so funny. Yeah, I think that's why boxing is just me.
Yeah,
I'm a
boxing is just
scenario.
me, right?
If
Okay,
I
this
get
is for
hit, it's
me.
my fault. But so those are the two sports, right? But what's funny, and I'm curious. Maybe people can relate to this. I get the most anxiety making a phone call. I get very sweaty. Like all my like what do you call it? Physiology starts acting up, right? I start pacing. I gotta stand up. I can't sit down. Like all of these things just start happening with my body, and I don't know why. I'm like, it's just a phone call. And it could be to somebody I know, my grandmother. It could be my grandmother. It's just a
Get
phone
out.
call, Kyle.
Okay.
Oh,
I have
check.
one. I have one too. I have to confess.
Okay, okay.
Forms, filling out forms freaks me out. Oh my, it's terrible. I have a
Okay.
huge, huge problem with filling out forms.
So when you were going to spar me, because we used to coach and train boxing, when you're going to spar me, you didn't feel that energy, right?
Which energy?
The forms, like the anxiety that comes.
Oh, actually, yes, yes. It was
Oh.
something like it was something different. No,
Mm.
no. The forms is it's an existential fear. It's like I don't know. I think you're trying to constrain my thinking to this little space here. What do you mean by that? All forms like they have a request for something. It's like what is that?
Mm.
What if I write this here and I'm completely I get misread by whoever reads it? What if this ruins the job? Oh, there's people who charge a lot of money to fill out forms. It's a job. It's like you have people who put together IKEA furniture.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who put together forms for you, right?
Right,
Now,
right.
forms is my life. I'm filling out forms often, not all the time, but insurance forms, lots of insurance forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in my work you have forms, lots of forms. I dislike forms, but it's a personal form. I can do the ones at work. If it's something personal, I have a very hard time with it.
So
Yeah.
so I have my phone calls. You have your forms. I'm sure a
Yes.
lot of people have these anxieties around things that make no sense at all and seems to be a routine thing for other people. What's
Yes.
going on, man? What's going on?
Oh, it's a message. It's a message. For me, there's a lot more than meets the eye when it comes to forms, right? That's I don't know, perhaps my upbringing in Cuba, the idea of control, the idea of forms. You have these forms all the time in Cuba that will ask like weird questions like do you have a family member who lives abroad? That was a counterpoint against you in certain situations. You were pointing at yourself. So do I say this? Do I not say it. So you live with that fear. So I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I have never, brought this up in depth in my therapy, but I could speculate something like that. So I'm just showcasing that if this anxiety in my life were so crippling that actually I couldn't do this, I couldn't manage it, then my system is really saying, hey, if you have a trauma because of what happened to you in Cuba related to that, this is affecting your performance, you need to process it. You need to talk about it. That's what I'm trying to showcase, right? If your anxiety is something you can manage, you can train, you can learn, that's life. That's what you're doing. You're always optimizing with this friend-foe relationship you have with anxiety. Anxiety is look into that. Did you do your this? Keeping yourself, in check. It has that. There's also the activation of anxiety before the fight. Oh yes, bring it on. That's excitement, right? You can read it that way. But we're talking about anxiety that's crippling you. Let's say you're an athlete and you're at that level, you're at a good level, and there's something in you that's affecting your performance, something that you couldn't, deal with meditation, reflection. Oh, imagine yourself winning the fight. Oh, imagine yourself losing the fight. You cannot psych yourself out to a point that you're getting rid of that. There's something there, at the moment of the fight, it. That you're not showing up. Maybe other people see it or not, but you are seeing it. You're aware, yourself. You have a sense that there's something holding you back. So then that's the anxiety you need to do something about.
Okay. And I want to nail that down. There's a lot of people, combat sports, outside of combat sports, whatever, that this let's say anxiety, we'll call it anxiety, but this rush that intercepts them, that hijacks them, that gets them to not perform at the level that they know for sure that they can perform at, and they don't know why, right? Cool. I think that what we're trying to say is that, hey, don't ignore that. This is very important. This is not something to dull away. This is actually something that can make you better if you say, look at that CO2 alarm and say, okay,
Mhm.
where's the fire? Where's the fire, man? Right? I think that's what you're kind of
Mhm.
saying. Like, hey, there's a fire that you got to
There's a
put out.
danger. There's a danger. There's a danger. Something, maybe not yet a fire, but pay attention.
Some smoke. Yeah.
Actually, is kind of similar to what happens. Actually, I would say it's the same in a way when people report they're paranoid when they take weed and say, "I get really paranoid."
Right.
What do you get paranoid about?
Right.
And when I talk to them, we find, so sometimes the drug is telling you you're paranoid about not small things. You're paranoid about things that, hey, you're not doing this, and you know that this could be a problem. During the day, you just turn it off, and you're not thinking. You're moving. That's why at night, when do you get the ruminations? When is it that you cannot sleep? At night, when the brain has very few things to focus on. You cannot negotiate with that anymore in that way. In rumination, your performance begins to get disrupted. You're not
Mhm.
doing well here, you're not doing well there. You're disoriented. And this, I wonder if the same thing that happens in therapy happens in the coaching relationship. Sometimes it hijacks your capacity to distinguish whether your therapist is actually telling you, hey, there's something here, we need to look at that. Or is your therapist actually misreading you or offending you? It hijacks, you can't quite tell. Is this person pushing me too much? Oh, look at what they said. Is the system getting hijacked to that point that you cannot tell what is helpful to what is not helpful?
Yeah. Okay,
So
I see.
imagine in boxing, the coaching relationship, or, my coach is not, of course it happened. It was not giving me as much attention as he was to this other guy. Or I don't think my coach likes me, or I feel judged. Something in the commentary from the coach could be misread that way, because anxiety will hijack your capacity for relevance realization.
I like that. I like that you brought that to this coaching angle because I do think that's why a lot of coaches struggle to connect to their fighters, especially when they underperform. And it's like,
Mm.
what are you doing, man? Right? Like that's usually the coach's reaction.
Oh,
Is going to be like like very hard, very like punch you in the face. And some fighters or some athletes, get a jolt out of that. Like you say, hijacking. It's like, okay, I just got to perform and get this done with, right? And
yeah,
some
that's enough.
some just totally collapse, right? Like it's tears, like it could go down to tears, right? A total collapse. And then I think this is my theory. I think this is a lot of those athletes that get miscoached because of this anxiety that disrupts their performance. We don't hear about them. We don't hear about them. They were so talented. They had all this, thing, but that maybe one or two or three episodes of what are you doing, man? Get it together. That collapsed them, their psychology, made them just, I don't need this anymore. I'm not able to perform. I'm giving up on this path.
Now, you could take a cutthroat approach and say, well, those who couldn't perform with that, we cut them out.
Exactly,
The,
and I think that's the sports philosophy at a high level.
oh, so for example, we're so accustomed to having the cream of the cream in UFC. The fighters get cut out all the time, but you don't follow much. At least I don't. Though I'm not a fan to that level. To follow the trajectory of these fighters, but often I see such and such fighter, 5 fights in UFC, started very well. Then the performance was erratic. They couldn't keep it. Then, so you could see that they had talent because they started well. They had some very good fights. You could see this person had a lot of potential that was not delivered. And
Mhm.
I'm thinking, what happened there? Was it related to anxiety, for example? Was it related to the message that you had to dig deeper and it wasn't done? What are your thoughts about that?
I think this is worth exploring because there is this, I want to say, glass ceiling that a lot of fighters or again athletes face, but I'd say combat sports, combat fighters face. Yeah, it reminds me of a story a coach told me about a guy he
Mhm.
used to train. I'll paraphrase the story because I can't remember the details exactly, but it went like
Mhm.
this: like this guy was a military guy. Like he went into like he's fully in shape, all of that. He's been in all these danger zones, like a elite military guy. I think one of those like special forces types of guys, right?
Mhm.
This is in Canada, and he wanted to go into MMA. He wanted to compete professionally in MMA. So he trained with this guy. He had like great MMA, training and all of that. And he was a big guy, physically gifted, all of that. And yeah, at some point they're like, "Man, you're ready, man. You can fight. You're ready." And then they put him in first fight. The guy just totally freezed up.
Oh.
Totally freezed up, and then like when you're starting out, guys, just so people know, they usually pick a easy fight, a fight that is supposed to boost your confidence,
Mhm, yeah.
somebody you can handle. So you're not really supposed to lose. Hey, this guy froze up. He lost to a smaller guy. Like it was almost embarrassing. And then
Mm.
my coach is like, "Hey man, what happened?" He's like, "I don't know, man. I don't know." Right? It's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. Like it's your first fight. Happens to all of us." So that's one thing in combat sports, boxing. We think experience is going to solve this issue, this little hidden ghost, right?
Yeah, well, let's explore that, like you said, because if hearing that, I would say to that guy, there was something there worth exploring that
Well,
required, huh?
yeah, no, well, let's keep going, man. Let's keep going with this story.
Oh, the story's
Teach.
not ended.
Oh no,
Oh,
we got a
sorry.
couple more to go, man.
Oh, I thought you were like, I saw this happen.
No, no,
It
but
happened.
I like that you said that because it's true, and that's why I say this is where coaches may miss this mark, right? So we go back into the gym. The guy goes back into the gym, training more. We're getting more techniques, more skills. It's like, hey, how do you feel, man? Yeah, I feel good. I feel like I'm ready for the next fight. Okay, man. Like, are you sure? Like, no rush. No, I feel good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So then they go in second fight. Same exact thing. Freeze
Oh,
up, taken down, tap out, boom, done. Something like that, right? He loses his second fight. It's like, hey man, what happened here? Oh,
ah,
I don't know. I don't know. Like I think I don't know, right? Like everybody's now
yeah, you
at
don't
this
know.
point.
Yeah.
At this point, everybody's a bit confused. Like, hey, no worries, man. Second fight. It's just second fight, right? We'll prepare. So this is the thing. So preparation, we think will solve it. So okay, let's take a longer time to prepare and experience. Okay, it's going to be a third fight. So now the jitters should be gone. Because come on, we all get jitters. It's your first, you don't know the experience, right? And all of that. Okay, cool. Man, they do it again. Third fight, and I'm telling you, this is like think about Navy SEAL. This is a special forces Navy. Like he has
Yeah.
experience, right? So
He
it's
has
not.
he has a long experience with fear.
Yeah, yeah. Like
He's an
he's in.
expert in fear.
Yeah, so he could perform in like violent life death situations.
Like, yeah. Imagine
So
comparing that to just getting tapped out.
tell me about it. So, anyways, third fight comes. Guess what? Same results. And then
Hmm.
it's like I think my coach is like, "Hey, man, I don't think this is cut out for you." And he's like, "I don't think so, man." And then that was it. That was the end of his career, right? So here we go. Here
I,
we
I, I
go.
I mean, I think it's worth a try because you really like what you're doing. You really like MMA, and it's worth a try to see if there's something else holding you back.
So, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that to what we're talking about, at least in combat, that this may just be anxiety. This may be anxiety, right? And this is the
Of course it
guys.
is.
These are the guys we'd never see. This guy could have probably been a UFC. Like my coach was saying, this guy had everything. He had the size. He had the like. This guy's a machine. The machine just don't operate in the in the octagon. Like
Yeah,
he's fighting.
clearly there was a mismatch between what people knew that he could achieve and what he did.
Because remember, like he's fighting with guys who are pros too, right? That's the training, that's the sparring, all of that. So we can see that he can perform, except when it's the fight night. The fight comes.
Right, right, right. So that has all the marks of anxiety, all the marks of
Mhm.
this system telling you there's a big misfunction here. And it's for some reason you're telling me this guy was exposed to war situations. I would be thinking, do you have an undiagnosed PTSD? Maybe subsyndromic PTSD. You're not like a full blown PTSD, but you have a few of the features that make PTSD. I mean, you don't need a DSM diagnosis. You have enough to be bothering you in your life. Where you want to wait until you have the full diagnosis, and then you have all the capacities. You're such a well-rounded individual. They're overcompensating. That's what people do with anxiety. Overcompensate. Oh, I do this, I do that. You're managing. You're managing, but it's holding you back. And maybe there's things you need to talk about related to your experience in the military. I mean, it's an easy target for me to say, but it could be something else. It
Right.
could be the girlfriend you lost when you were deployed. It could be, warriors often have a will to expose themselves to die and have no way to deal with a broken heart.
Mm.
It's not, the guy trying to kill you that's going to bring you to your knees is going to be a broken heart. You don't have the capacity to deal with that because of trauma, because of your history, because of whatever. Anyway, your system is misoriented. It's worth a try because what if you had done some depth therapy and your system had been reoriented and you could have performed better? So it was worth a try.
So I want to bring this to a close because I think we have to talk about like how would we coach somebody through this. Now, I would say with boxing or combat sports, I think in sports in general, we don't have great tools for this at all. I mean, I
No.
remember this Simone Biles story where she basically stepped away, and then people now started to pour it on to her, like, oh, you're mentally weak. That's why you couldn't handle. Gymnastics is a, I mean, they don't hit anybody, but that's a brutal sport. Like that is a combat sport to me, gymnastics. But
Uh, 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 uh,
oh, you don't
uh,
agree?
no, no, I have more to say about gymnastics. Gymnastics has been traumatic in more than one way. Who were physically abused by their gymnast teacher.
And so there's a dark side of gymnastics. I think that's time to open up to talk about that. But I mean the demands of the sports and everything very similar to combat sports. I have to say,
Yeah.
and that relationship actually, that coach
Oh,
trainee relationship is as tight as it is with boxing. I think that's probably the only sport I'd say is as close to boxing in terms of that coach trainee, very tight relationship. And yeah, so anyways, one thing I know fighters do to deal with it, because this is the thing that nobody knows about except the fighter, they create this alter ego. Now that's another story for another day, but they kind of like create
mhm.
another state of consciousness where like, hey, that guy's too weak. That's Bruce Banner. I need the Hulk right now. Right?
You know what? How about we do a podcast on this?
Alter ego. Yeah, I will
Alter
come back.
ego, but within the idea of how you manage performance
Yeah, no, we'll come
in
back to that.
anxiety. Yeah, let's
I
go
think
back to that more
we'll
in
come
depth.
back to that. But yeah, so I'd say like that's basically it. We have what, three things. I guess we have preparation, we have experience, and we have the really elite athletes just creating a totally different alter ego to deal with this thing.
Yeah,
That's our tools. I don't think it's good enough, especially as a coach. It doesn't really give me much wiggle room. So I come to you. I come to you with my fighter. Hey, this guy, he's not performing, man. This guy just freezing up. What? How are you gonna take this guy? Like, how would you get somebody? It could be not even a fight. It could just be somebody else. Like work, whatever it is. What are the
yeah.
steps to
The first
unpacking
thing
this
that
thing?
I'll tell you. The first thing is that athlete cannot be treated as a patient. That athlete cannot. He's not looking for psychotherapy. This is performance
Okay.
related. Okay, so that you cannot pathologize that, because then you make the athlete think that they're more vulnerable than they are. No, 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 you're a hero. You got this. You're not here for therapy. Hey, let's explore your psychological architecture. Let's explore where the issues are. Okay, well, then that gives you what, you're a warrior. You face things, so that gives you what to look at and what to work on. So going to the easy example, if, for example, you lost a, a fellow fighter, your friend, soldier, dies, and this happens a lot, particularly if you're an elite, unit. You can. There's cases where you're the only survivor of an elite unit. You get killed, and you're the only one. And how do you deal with that? There's a lot of like heavy shit in that situation. Have you talked about it enough? And, do you go to the VA? Maybe they do some tests. You're good. You're okay. But what if there's more than you need to talk about? Not that it's um, of the level of psychotherapy. What about explore? Oh, this is happening to me. It's short circuiting with me somehow. So by doing that, you get reoriented. Is when you have to do this, you're called to do this because, hey, you tried the other things that I was talking about. You tried reflecting on it. You tried performance. You tried more exposure. You tried, relaxation. You tried yoga. You tried, visualizing yourself winning. You tried visualizing yourself losing, and it doesn't solve the issue. There's a repetition of a clear signal. You're not functioning at the level you can, but you're not a patient. You're not being sent to psychotherapy necessarily. Maybe you discover, but you own it. You're not being sent. You say, I need to talk about my father and how my relationship with my father is sort of informing my relationship with my coach. You know what? Yes, there's actually stuff there that I need to talk about, and you choose it. But for starters, a coach comes and say, "Hey, my athlete is not performing well." Well, let's see what's going on.
I like
Do a
that.
checkup. Yeah.
No, I like that. I like how you phrased it. And I think that's important. Just in general, I'm not gonna lie to you, because I think I have a lot of friends that deal with this thing. They're very tough people. They can handle a lot, but
Hmm.
this anxiety seems to follow tough people. You know, I think I like how you put it there. Like, hey, this is not like you're broken per se, or like your
Hmm.
it's affecting your performance. That's just as simple as it is. You know, and
Right.
so now you gotta do the hard work, like the combat, let's say like the um psycho combat, right? We're gonna have to find this enemy. We're gonna have to find it. And the only way we're gonna find it is by searching. I'm gonna search by talking about things and stuff like that. So this is really like a fight to find the enemy behind, let's say, whatever shadows they're lurking behind, you know, and then saying, "Ha, I got you. Come here
Right.
into the light."
Right. Now I can do something about it. Like I said, even is I realize I have to do therapy, even taking it to that level.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
But what if it's something else? What if it's something that just the mere fact that you're shaking, you're moving it, oh, this is a target, then you can do something about it.
Mhm.
Because you're a fighter. You're gonna fight it. But if you don't know it, and you're telling me the guy was saying, I don't know, and there's this repetition, anxiety will make this repetition. You get in trouble in the same way. Somehow, your attention gets hijacked, and you keep repeating. You know it.
Mhm. So I'm
So
gonna. Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm going to say that anxiety and performance go together,
Okay. Yeah.
right? They go together.
Yeah.
And one is the friend is a friend to the other. Anxiety can be your friend.
I just want to put in a nutshell, just to close, that if you're feeling anxiety, or if you're battling anxiety, fighters, maybe other people who perform in other spaces, except when this anxiety starts to beep off, right? Um, doesn't mean that you're weak and it's a sign of weakness, right? It means that, hey, there's some opponent, there's some enemy lurking in your consciousness, and you gotta search for it. You gotta find this guy, right? Like this smoke, and you got to find out where the smoke is coming from. And so this is a great time to coach yourself through being able to have the skills to find this person, right? This little hooded monster in the back of your brain, or front of your brain, or wherever it is in your brain. And once you find that guy, now we can work.
Absolutely, absolutely, because that's what you do. You're a fighter. you
Hmm.
you use anxiety, you use an exploration of your psychological architecture so that you can become a better fighter. This is a psychological equivalent of all the measures you use for the body. You need to look at the oxygen in your blood, the recovery time, all these numbers. They're physical. Their other numbers are psychological. The psychological life exists. You're just not taking enough care of it. You're neglecting a very, very important aspect in your performance as an athlete.
And as a person as well, like let's athlete
Oh, for
person,
sure,
be
as a person, for
yeah.
sure, as a person, for sure, as a person.
Yeah.
You're not happy with yourself. You're not happy. You know that there's stuff that's holding you back, and nobody sees it necessarily, but you know it. There's lots of people functioning at a very high level. They do the job. They have families. They perform like parents. They perform like friends. Nobody can tell what's happening because this is a very high level. You don't have any smoking gun, like, oh, you lost your job, you're 3 jobs in the no, you don't have a smoking gun. This person is doing really well by the eyes of the others. In the eyes of the others, this person is doing perfectly fine. They know, only they know that they're underperforming. Only they know that they're not really present, that they go unnoticed emotionally. They're neglecting things, and nobody's seeing this. Only they know it. And once they find what it is, they get involved. These people are very high level people, like in boxing. They're professionals. They do really well in life. And they will do, when you present the psychological architecture, you said this is what's happening to you, this is that, this is that. They get it. They begin to do the work.
Nice, nice.
And they get,
And
and they do what they do. They perform. Things begin to improve, things begin to shake. Because that's what they do. They just don't have the language. There's a neglect of there's a lip service paid to the idea that your psychological architecture, your system, is behind your everything, your performance. You say, yes, yes, of course. Well, let me do some relaxation. I'll do yoga. I'll do visualizations. All of these things are very helpful. But there's more to the game. And if you managed, you managed. You know what? I found a way. Everything is working out. You managed. But if something keeps on repeating, or you have a nagging feeling that, don't wait until you get cut out of the UFC. You made it you know how hard it is to make it to the UFC? Well, if you get cut out, it's because indeed, you were not at that level. The problem is, I was at that level. I am at that level. That's what the problem is.
no, I like that. I like how you put it there. So yeah, so we got anxiety today. I just felt like we should do that because we talked about fear last time, and anxiety. I think more people have a relationship with, to say the least. Um, but yeah, so I feel good about this one as well. Next
Yeah,
time
me too.
we'll continue to fight these life battles, right? These things that people are combating every day, and knock them down one by one. All right.
Right. That's what we're gonna do. And yes, fear and anxiety, they go together as well. Because one is what you're afraid of. The other one is that something is off.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. Till next time.
Until next time.
Ayo, embile, 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 embile. Wananyana, wananyana, nyana, nyana, wananyana, nyana, na. We do. Hush, hush. Oh yeah. Somebody's calling my name. Bile, bile, bile. Hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush. Yeah, oh yeah. Somebody's calling my name. We don't. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, what shall I do? Every day I play my drum. That way I can forget the pain. But now I'm sure I will die, 'cause someone is calling my name. Yeah, oh yeah. Somebody's calling my name. Billy, Billy, Billy. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? Oh, forgive me, Lord, don't let me die. Give me another chance. Don't you see I'm sad? Because I'm sure that someone is calling my name. Yeah, oh yeah. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, oh yeah. What shall I do? Soon at morning, death comes creeping on my room. Soon at morning, death comes creeping on my room. Yeah, oh yeah. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord. is gonna fire. Ship is gonna get, it's gonna get on fire.
Ship is gonna fire.
Hey, can you hear me? I'm talking to the higher.
Ship is gonna fire.
My body's broken out, my mind is very tired.
Ship is gonna fire.
I pray, ship is gonna fire.
Ship is gonna fire.
Come to me, give me another chance.
Ship is gonna fire.
At least my last music, at least my last dance.
Ship is gonna fire.
Ship is gonna get, it's gonna get on fire.
Ship is gonna fire.
1, 2, 3, yeah. Se quema el barco, se quema el barco. Ship is gonna fire, frase idiomática que en Cuba quiere decir candela y no pasa nada.
Se quema el barco, se quema el barco.
Se quema mi barco, se quema mi capitán. Tíralo por la borda, tíralo por la borda.
Se quema el barco, se quema el barco.
Mira, la culpa la tuvo el grumete por jugar con gasolina. Fuego en el cuarto de máquina y candela en la cocina.